Hello and welcome back to Cruising Off Duty and the 2020 sailing season. Now I know 2020 hasn't been an amazing year for everybody, it's been tough. But hey, nothing says social distancing like getting out on the water. If you've already got a boat, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you don't have a boat, this might be the channel for you as well, because we're going to show you what it's like to own a medium-sized sailboat, and we'll talk about some of the work that's involved in keeping a sailboat maintained. But of course, the benefit is all the beauty and the waterways around you, and we have a ton of it around here, so we'll show it to you as well. And we're going to give you a detailed tour in this episode of our boat to give you an idea of what a 35-foot monohull would be like. And then for those who are dreaming bigger, you know, the catamarans like we're thinking of getting, don't worry, we're still going to do those boat reviews like we've always done. If you're new to the channel and you're not sure what this is all about, here's a little bumper I created just to give you an idea of what we've been through in the past. Hello and welcome back to Cruising Off Duty.
Hey everybody.
It's been over a year since we filmed on this boat.
Yeah, we haven't taken any footage since before, well, his trip.
Before my trip. So not last season, not 2019 sailing season, it was 2018 sailing season. Yeah. So if anybody doesn't know, I spent most of last sailing season doing that southern transatlantic from South Africa, across the South Atlantic to Brazil, up to the Caribbean. If you haven't seen that series, go back and check it out. There's a playlist called South Atlantic Crossing. And unfortunately, that one started in May and ended in July.
Right.
So by the time I got back, the summer was mostly
half
over.
Yeah. And I had a secret car accident while he was gone. I didn't tell him while he was gone, but he got back to find I had a cast on my arm and a fractured sternum, and that really limits your ability to do lines and dock the boat and things like that. So we only went on the boat twice after he got back.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, for sure. So that really limited our ability to film last year on our own boat. Obviously, I had tons of footage from that South Atlantic crossing to keep me busy, and I made episodes right up until the Annapolis Sailboat Show, and then of course I had a whole bunch of episodes after that. So it all worked out. We had plenty of stuff to do, but yeah, I kind of looked back and realized we didn't get any sailing footage.
We missed that last summer. Whoops.
We love our cruising sailboat, our little floating cottage as we call it.
Yeah.
So this season, 2020, is going to be awesome. We have a big trip planned. Why don't you tell them the trip?
Yeah, we're going to do the trip from Kingston to Toronto, and that takes like 4 or 5 days. My son, as you may know, is in Toronto going to school, and he's got a place there, and so him and a couple of friends are going to come on the boat. We're going to try and do it on Canada Day and hopefully put off some fireworks in the dinghy or see other people.
Hopefully there's some fireworks, I'm sure.
We're hoping for fireworks.
We'll see. We have a nice Dodger Bimini now, a brand new edition, which I'll show you. We are going to do a boat tour right after this little sit and talk thing. So we'll show you the new additions to our boat, which you didn't see last year.
Yeah.
So I know based on all the, 6 years we've been doing this episode?
Something like that.
I get a lot of comments, and I can tell after all these years the type of people that watch the channel, and it's a broad spectrum. Everyone from people that have never sailed, have no idea, see channels like ours, and are really excited to get into it. They ask me a lot of questions, and I love answering those questions. If you have any questions you want, and you don't want to put them in the comments, of course, for everybody to read, send me an email at cruisingoffduty@gmail.com. I'll be more than happy to help anybody of all experience levels. So one kind of group is the people who either have never owned a sailboat, or they used to own a sailboat and they wish they still owned it. They sold it years ago and now they don't, and they're trying to get back into kind of more smaller boat sailing, maybe up to about the size of ours, which is a 35-footer. They want to either get a small day sailor or a cabin, a cruising cottage type of boat like ours, and that's kind of group one. So this season we want to cover some of what's it like to own a boat like ours, some of the work you need to do to keep a boat like this up, and that'll be covered. The next group is more like the people who already own a boat and they want to move up, and that's sort of where we're at. We own this boat, and we want to move up to a bigger catamaran. And that's when we do those Annapolis sailboat shows where we do window shopping for bigger boats. So we'll, of course, continue that. Although this year, Annapolis sailboat show might
not happen. I expect it won't happen.
Might be a no-go.
Yeah.
Because of the coronavirus and the restrictions of border crossings. Yeah. So that's that group. And then just generally, some people are just interested in what's it like to do a YouTube channel. And then there's some people that are more interested in what type of gear am I using. I've got new gimbals this year, new cameras, new stuff. So I might sometimes interject one episode or so showing some of the new gear and how it benefits the channel, giving you better quality videos.
And we're going to be very St. Lawrence, like Ontario centric. Like we do want to get more kind of local involvement of from boaters that are on the same waters as us, and showing them what all there is to offer in this area. Because we don't have crystal blue water or tropical fish, but there is a lot of beauty, and it's beautiful here. We're in Navy Bay right now, and I love this spot because the trees on shore, like we're listening to birds nonstop. The water was warm for me. Yeah, it's like our own little backyard pool in here.
Nice tropical little bay for the St. Lawrence. And as you can probably see in the background, the Fort Henry is there behind us. It's a beautiful, beautiful spot. And we're at golden hour, so it's a beautiful time to be filming. I'll throw a little footage in there. So why don't we give them a tour of off-duty. This is our 35-foot 1994 Beneteau. And we've had it since 2010. So we've had it for 10 years now.
Wow.
We got it in November 2010. So anyways, we've made a few additions along the way, and there's still some areas that we need to do more work on, and you're going to see that during this tour. Yeah. So why don't we start on the outside of the boat, and then we'll go inside the boat.
Okie dokie.
All right, stay tuned. Okay, let's start at the stern of the boat and work forward. Of course, on our boat, we have a swim platform, sticks out, lets you swim. There's a little swim ladder down there that you can go in the water, and as you've seen, Janice loves to swim. Then we also have this flip-up seat. So when you want to steering the boat, you've got something to sit on, but when you're at anchor, you can drop it down and have an extension on the swim platform. This is where I obviously steer from. Usually I sit, I don't usually stand, mostly because our brand new Bimini, although it's good here, it gets lower as you go forward. So it's just nice to be able to see through the Dodger, a little easier sitting down than standing up. We usually have our phone right here, which is, we got Navionics on that. It shows me where the shallow spots are and all that. All the instrument panel is here. I can show you that later. Okay, as you can see, I've changed t-shirts and it's a lot brighter out here. We had to film this the next day because it was getting dark, we were rushing, and we kind of blew through the cockpit and didn't even talk about the storage outside in the Lazarettes. It's an important feature on any boat. You need lots of storage for things like fenders, padded chairs, just general tools and other things you want to leave outside. And we have a lot of it on this boat outside. We might complain a bit later about the storage inside the boat, but we have plenty for this size of boat outside. So starting on the port side, we have two Lazarettes, one back here, which I'll show you in a second. It's our gas Lazarette. And then this is our big Lazarette. This is what we call our garage, our storage unit, because it is absolutely cavernous. It has our folding bikes. We have 4 of these padded chairs, which we'll talk about in a second. We also have our refrigeration in there, tools, any fluids, oils, whatever, all in here. And of course, we put our fenders in there usually. Right now they're sitting in our dinghy, so I could show you this Lazarette. Now this Lazarette needs to be opened first. Before you can open this Lazarette, it's kind of locked. This is our propane Lazarette. It's for the stove, so that has to be like that by code. It's in a vented locker. It's the size of a 10-pound propane tank. We'd prefer it was a bigger one, a 20-pounder, but unfortunately that's the way this boat is built. We have a 20-pounder here, but as you can see, that's for the barbecue and only the barbecue. And it doesn't need to be in a vented locker because it's outside. And we strap that to the rail so it can't fall overboard. And our barbecue is kind of where you do most of your cooking if you're going to do meat. We don't ever use our oven, as we told you already, or we will in a second. Going over to the starboard sign, we have another Lazarette. Now I just want to mention, when you have hard wooden seats like this and you've got guests over and you're going to sit for hours, and you do spend probably 80 to 90% of your time in your cockpit entertaining, you don't tend to sit inside unless it's really, really cold or raining. So you have to kind of invest in seats. Now these are the seats we had 4 of. These are the ones you can buy from a West Marine or any chandlery. They'll do the job, but we found that over time they were the foam sort of gets squishy and narrow, and before you know it, you almost feel like you're still sitting on wood. So luckily, all those years we've been going to the Annapolis Sailboat Show, We bumped into Christian and Patty, who own Sport a Seat. And this is not an advertisement, but we do love these guys. Look what they did for us. They had this embroidered on for us, and they gave us 2 of these seats. And I just want to show you the difference in thickness. Like, this is substantial, and we love these seats, and they're far superior to the ones we get at the normal chandlery. I just wanted to do a shout out to them because they do good quality stuff. And like I say, if you have a logo or something you want stitched in, they can also do that for you, which you're not going to get done at your local West Marine. So shout out to them. Awesome product, and we love them. We use them all the time. But going back onto this side Lazarette, there's our second one. This Lazarette is narrower, mostly because, as you'll see soon, this is where the back cabin is. So it can't go as deep, otherwise we wouldn't have a back cabin. Oh, you've thrown our towels in there.
That's where they went.
All right. Anyways, those are not usually in here. Our plexiglass door for our companionway is always locked in here. Our cover for our wheels in here, and all the different lines and ropes that we have in there, plus our swim noodles. Our compressor for our stand-up paddle boards in there. Generally, this is just a thinner version of the locker across. You can use it for whatever you want, but obviously there's not enough room to put like fenders and other things in there. And behind that one, which doesn't need to have this one open to open it, is the kind of the very deep, there's no room back here. There's no cabin back here. So it's very deep. It has all of our shore power cords, our extension cords, our jerry cans, all of that stuff ends up in this one. So as you can see, between all those Lazarettes, we got quite a bit of storage on this boat, so we're happy about that. Now, the one other thing I want to mention that's a kind of a new addition, fully finished this year to be showcased, is our brand new Bimini / Dodger. And we went for, if Janice turns around and shows you the Dodger here, I'll just show you what we went for. Some sailboats, you'll see the Dodger is substantially shorter than the Bimini. We chose to go as high as we possibly could here to give us the most viewing area. There's always a downside to everything though. I'll show you out here, but there's a traveler out here for our main boom. And because it's fixed there, this could only go straight down. It couldn't go past it. So it's kind of steep on the outside, but I mean, it does the job. And I like the fact that we're not having to duck in order to see through our Dodger. This thing is a godsend in cold weather because it really does keep you nice and warm here, even on the coldest days. Downside to that, if it's a hot day, there's not a lot of airflow, although you can unzip this and take this center piece out if you want. But we are so glad we have this. We can now sit outside in the rain or inclement weather, which we never used to be able to do before we got this Dodger connector. Before we had just a Bimini back there. And as you know, the wind, when it rains, it's usually windy at the same time, and rain comes in at an angle, and we just couldn't use this area, but now we can. So great addition. This is our cockpit, and we have both sides of this flip up, so you have seating for easily for 4, if not more. Now, this is one of the areas we're going to have to work on. As you can see, there was a stain put on our seats, and the stain is all lifted, so that'll be one of the chores we work on this summer, to sand that down and restain it. Like I say, boats always have something that needs to be done, and that's definitely one of the priority jobs for us. Okay. Now, we haven't had rain in over a week, and when we left the boat last weekend, it was nice and clean. But with no rain, we haven't had anything washing off the inevitable bird poop and anything else that happens on a boat. We have a pretty easy deck to get around. Our main sail that gives us the most power is our Genoa. It's a 135% Genoa, which means it goes past the mast. And this is where most of the power comes from on off duty, because our next sail, which I'll show you next. Okay, this is our mainsail. It's called an in-mast furling main, and I think it has more detractions than a regular sail, a regular dropped sail, because there's no battens. You don't have any roach on your mainsail, so you don't have a bigger area. It ends up coming out just like a triangle of cloth. Since there's no battens, it doesn't often keep its shape as well. It's a smaller sail, and therefore you don't get as much power from this type of sail. The pros of this type of sail is it's easy to pull in and out from the comfort of your cockpit, as long as it's not super windy. If it's super windy, the wind pulls on the sail so hard that sometimes this line doesn't furl into the mast as easily as you would like it to, and especially under stressful high wind conditions, it can get kind of jammed up. So on our next boat, we've definitely said to ourselves, we will never get an in-mast furling sail again. There is such a thing as in-boom furling sails, which they still have battens because it's coming out of your boom instead of out of your mast. That's something we would consider, but I think just to avoid all headaches, our next boat will definitely just have a standard sail that you drop into a sail bag and you're done with it. There we go. Okay, one thing we forgot to mention that is a very important component on the boat is the anchor. Now, if you watched our episodes back in Wapusa like a couple of years ago, our boat got dragged during a windstorm out into Lake Ontario. And ever since then, we upgraded our anchor from what was a CQR with a pivoting head to a Mantis. And we also upped the weight to a 45-pound Mantis. We used to have a 35-pound CQR. Now it's already anchored, so I can't show it to you. I've got some footage I'll put in there now, but it is a godsend. So definitely invest in a good anchor, either a Rockna or a Mantis. They're similar in shape. Those two are highly recommended, and definitely get something a little bigger than your standard one that the boat would have come with from the factory, because bigger is always better. Okay, now this is an addition we put in almost the very first season we had the sailboat. It's two 130-watt solar panels. They're made by Sharp. We then had a guy custom build this aluminum frame to mount these on. So there's airflow underneath to keep them cool. We have a total of 260 watts, and we have an MPPT controller, which I'll show you inside in the bedroom, that gives maximum efficiency to the solar panel. And this thing runs everything on our boat. It runs our fridge 24/7. We leave the fridge running when we go back home on our off days, and it's still nice and cold when we get here. And that's a godsend. No lugging ice back and forth to the boat, which a lot of people who don't have good solar have to do. And yeah, we just love it. We would highly recommend, if you have a boat that you plan to stay on over weekends or extended stays, to get invest in a solar panel system. So let's go inside and check out the inside of the boat.
Welcome to the Galley. We'll start on this end. So this boat that we bought here was pretty basic compared to most of the other ones that we looked at. It didn't have any cabinetry built in, but it was in the best condition, so that's why we chose it. But instead of cabinets, we have milk crates to stow kitchenware. Over here is our chest fridge and little mini freezer, and thanks to our solar panels, it's continually running, so we can keep it stocked with drinks, beer, condiments, and the only thing we have to bring every time we come is basically fresh produce and milk. And even this monohull here has double sinks.
Janice loves double sinks.
And so pressured water for all the taps. You turn it on over there and you run it over here. It gets a lot stronger than that. And then there is a freshwater river water foot pump here, which is it's actually pretty a powerful stream. So it's excellent for a quick rinse, pre-rinse, or washing your hands in a hurry. Cutlery is in this little cabinet here. All our coffee mugs are here. And here is our dishes and bowls, etc. Got our awesome Costco plates that fit so perfectly. And we have a gas stove here. So it's a 3-burner gas stove, which is excellent. It's working very well for us. Even has a brand new gas oven that has never been used. The previous owner never used it, and we also have never used it. So anyone want to give me some cooking lessons is welcome aboard. And here we have the master cabin, or the aft cabin, which has the biggest bed. Unfortunately, the end that would be mine is not made for a tall woman. I don't fit there comfortably at all. Like, I have to crush my head up against the wall, or I have to basically be on a complete angle with my feet on top of his feet. And then when I have to use the washroom, I have to climb over his face. Doesn't work for me.
No, and it makes me wake up every time. So
has a bed front, turns up. It has a little closet. We hang all our little coats and sweaters because it gets cool around here sometimes. And all of this is his stuff.
Yeah, this is my room.
Basically his room.
And I live with all the electronics and camera gear beside me.
So what would be my side of the bed is filled with electronics
and
other equipment. Oh yeah, and my stand-up paddleboard. Yeah. That doesn't fit in the Lazarette. And here we have the head. It's pretty cute, easy to manage. We got some nice little cabinetry for toiletries in here. And under here is, of course, where we keep a little garbage can, and the toilet paper holder is up there. It's Jabsco. You've probably seen one of these before. That kind.
Yeah. Pump
and
toilet.
The shower. Oh, the major upgrade of this boat was this shower head.
Yeah.
Like when we got it, it had like a really cheap, flimsy plastic shower head, and we bought this. Like, it needed to be the same fittings, so it wasn't easy to find a suitable replacement. But now that we got it, it's amazing. Like, the water pressure out of this thing is like jets.
Yeah, show them where they hang.
I can even wash my hair with this.
Pull it all the way out. So it hangs there, and then what happens is you shower, in essence, standing up, or you can sit on the toilet and shampoo your legs or whatever, soap your legs up while you're sitting there, and then it all goes down into a drain in the floor.
There's a button to suck out all the water.
Yeah, you press a button and it sucks all the water out, and so that's how we shower, and it's very comfortable.
Yeah, I prefer this than, like, when we're at the marina, there are facilities that have wonderful showers as well, but it's inconvenient to have to pack my bag and remember my scrubby and my shampoo, and then get all dried off and dressed up to come back to my boat. Where I shower here, I can just
take your time.
Take my time getting dressed.
And how do they heat the water? How? Two ways. One is by
we can plug in.
Yeah. So if you have shore power, you get heated water, and the other way is?
By running the motor. Awesome. Because there was zero wind when we came here, we motored, so that means we'll have water warm enough to shower in the morning.
And the water heater's under one of these seats, and it stays warm all night. It's insulated, and it's under that seat right there, actually.
I'll show you.
Ooh, there we go.
Ta-da.
So there is the water heater, and it heats off the engine, or it has an electric coil if you're plugged into shore power. And that keeps enough water for both of us to have a long Hollywood shower.
And here we have the salon with this nice round seating, and there's room for like 6 or 7 people. There's storage underneath. Our our water tank valves are under here, where we switch from the front to the back or whatever. In the corner here is where we stow our booze and pop. I call it the booze hole. It's basically just this deep thing that you can fill with, we got water jugs and a couple of bottles of booze in there. And the seat I'm sitting on right under here is our toolbox area. All the tools are under me right here. In this one, there's a big hole where we got a bunch of spare life jackets. There's a little handy dandy hole for small tools and hardware here.
We probably wish there was bookshelves or something built back here.
Yeah, because you look at other Beneteau, a lot of them have that, like nice built-in bookshelves, or at least cabinetry with like closed doors where you can stow stuff. This boat doesn't have. It's bare. It's just clean walls. This is the other corner of the salon. Under me is
more of our couch.
Yeah, a couch. It would be great if this table extended or had a leaf, because like this couch is. We mostly use it for putting the iPad there and sitting here to watch movies.
Yeah.
That's the most.
That's why I say it's more of our couch.
And my dad, when he's on board, he'll sleep here. Like, get rid of this, and it's wide enough for a.
There you go. So without that, you could definitely, single person could sleep there very comfortably. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it wouldn't have been, if we were going to live on this boat, we would probably get a carpenter to build a leaf that slides out. And some cabinets. Oh yeah, and some cabinets behind these seats. So there was.
And the kitchen.
Yes. There's a few things that we would change if we were going to live full time on this boat.
But this really is a cottage for us. So imagine how people live in, like, stay in their cottage. They just have, random stuff they need for the weekend. And over here is the Nav Station, which of course we don't use for navigating. We got some stuff in the desk, and this is a Dollarama like desk organizer where we got just the little things that we need, all our keys, batteries,
The control panels here too.
Control panel. Here's our handheld VHF. Nice little fans around the place. I guess in each of the
because it's hot
cabins. There's one of these, and there's a couple out here. And here if we're plugged into shore power.
Let me get over here so I can show. So do it.
If we're plugged into shore power, this panel here can be used. When we're not on shore power, it's useless. But you can turn the water heater on here if you're plugged in.
Why don't you show me your room?
Come with me into my little cabin /
her boudoir.
Whatever. My bedroom, the ladies' room. So I sleep with my head over here and my feet down there. All this bunch. It's because I got one of those like soft.
We both have
thingies
that.
On top.
Yeah, we both.
I didn't want to cut the corners off of it, so it's just kind of.
And we both have that on our beds because these cushions are kind of on the stiff side. Rock hard.
So well, they are how old though now? 1994 right now. So they're what 30 years.
But I think they were always built a little on the stiff side.
It's a bit
so
firm.
We bought the memory foam. We bought the memory foam for each one of our beds. Mm-hmm. But as Janice said, this is a V berth, so it's triangular shaped. Yeah. So it would kind of require us cutting a memory foam.
But at least I can. I sleep on my back. I don't sleep on my side with my legs tucked in, so that's why that doesn't work over there for me. Like here, I can stretch out as much as I want. No one is snoring. And when I want to pee, I don't have to wake someone else up. Here we got life jackets hanging.
She's implying only I snore.
No, I snore. Okay, I don't disturb him with my snoring.
Yeah, that's true.
The win-win.
It's a win-win.
And that's about it.
So you've got
This window here.
you've got a hanging locker on this
that's
side
with
and
even
another
life jackets
one
in-
kind of behind this door,
which is
you can't
full
really
of
see.
towels. This is more of a, it's got 3 shelves, and I've stuffed it with towels
Yeah.
for now.
For airflow, she's got the best room for airflow because that hatch up there, of course, it's on the bow of the boat, scoops the most air. And I'm in the back over there, and I only have a teeny-wee little hatch right there. So I don't get as much airflow. So I might have the nice square bed, but she gets the great airflow on the hot
And the
nights.
more headroom.
Yes.
The other downside of that place is like, cannot get through a weekend without bumping my head on the ceiling in that room.
Oh, and I thought of another thing that's a benefit for you versus me. The engine is under this stairs. So we've been motoring for a long time. Great, we get hot water for showers, but also the heat built up in this room, the engine room, kind of emanates into my bedroom back here. So if we've been motoring for a long trip, and we're definitely going to be motoring a lot on the way to Toronto, then I got to put up with the heat all night. And you don't have to do that, poor me. So that's the end of the tour.
I guess that's it.
Yeah.
I don't think we forgot anything.
Okay, hopefully you enjoyed our tour of our Beneteau 351, which is a 35-foot, they call it Oceanus. Oceanus really means it's wide.
Oh.
It's 12 feet wide, so it's a big, fat, comfortable sailing boat. Mm-hmm. We would highly suggest a boat like this if you're going to use it as either your home. If you're a minimalist kind of liver, you could live on this.
Oh yeah, I mean, if we weren't spoiled, rich kids.
Spoiled. We're not rich,
No.
but she's got needs, and I want to have a happy
If he wants
sailor.
me to come,
Yeah.
then he'll get cash.
But this boat's great. I mean, lots of people could live on this in the Caribbean for a long time, years. If you put a water maker on this boat, it pretty much has everything you need. But there's not a lot of storage the way it's built right now. So if you're trying to live on a boat like this, you'd probably have to hire a contractor or a carpenter to build you a lot more storage capacity.
Yeah.
But the boat is 35 long and 12 wide, so it's pretty beamy. Mm-hmm. So there you go. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If so, show the channel some love by giving it a thumbs up and
Subscribe.
she's out of practice.
Wow.
Subscribe. All right. Ciao for now. Bye-bye.
Welcome to the Galley.
All right, let's start again. Okay. A little duck interlude. Little ducky babies coming with mommy.
So let's enter
All right.
the companionway.
Wait, hold on.
Okay. Hold on, I gotta blow my nose now. 2 seconds, I have bookers. The companionway. Oops.
Donk. Going swimming.
First swim of the year.
How warm is it?
Very warm.
You lie.
Weigh anchor and hoist the sail.